Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 2 hours of live stream writing accountability, followed by our live wrap-up chat. So if you are new here, what happens is I share my screen and you can follow along, well, read along as I go through my writing for the day as part of my accountability, and or you could keep this open in a separate window as white noise for your own work, like a digital shared working space. So as you can see here, I am working in tabs for the windows, so I'm not going to be able to see what all is going on in the chat. And that is why we have the live wrap-up chat at the end of the 2 hours, where I give you a brief summary of what I worked on in case you weren't reading along, and then I respond to all comments made in the live chats on both Twitch and YouTube, since this is a dual broadcast. So I'm just getting everything lined up over here on YouTube, and then I'll get into the morning writing that I have lined up for myself. I also like to work in tabs and not have a separate window for the live chats, simply because my OCD subtype is anchored to social anxiety, and being aware of what people are saying as they're saying it really gums up the works in my head in terms of getting the writing done. Oh, that's not what I meant. I wonder sometimes if I should narrate what I'm doing. Just to help let people know if they come in late what all is happening. Especially since I know on Twitch that the moment you enter a live stream, that's the moment that the chat starts for you. And so I just put in those little tidbits in the chat just now. And anybody who comes in after I've put those in, they're not going to see them. So there's part of me that feels like I should be narrating as I go, but then that might confuse people and make them think that I'm able to see the chat and I'm going to be able to respond to their comments. I just want to make sure that when people come in, whenever they come in, they're not lost. They know I'm doing my work, you're free to do your work, or keep me in the background as white noise for your work. And it's mostly the live chat at the end, I think, that really can see I'm just here on buffer, just trying to get things queued up to make sure that when someone finds me on a social platform, that my presence on that platform such that it will guide them to my priority project. And this is something I do specifically for the platforms I am currently less proactive on. 110. And now I'm writing very briefly my blog post for today. And you cannot see, but I have a PDF full of journaling prompts. So today, as you can see in the video title, is day 75 of this first round of 100 days of morning writing. And so I pull from day 75 of this thing over here. When you go to thegoldengooseeggs.com, you've seen this in the left column over here. It says get 100 days of journaling prompts and start living happily ever out there. Put in your name and your email address, and then you get a PDF with essays on the instinctive stories that we tell ourselves and 100 days of journaling prompts. And this is journaling prompt for day 75. I might not answer these questions directly. It's just a springboard to get me going. I submitted this for publication. And I really like it. But until I get back from that publication, it is not my job to decide whether or not it gets published. My job is to go on to the next thing. Which, now that I finished writing my article for the Golden Goose Eggs that will be coming out on the 30th, it is time for me to work on the Boon that will be coming out on the 9th of April. Well, sort of. I have lessons to edit before that. Okay, I need to do Oh, not what I meant to do. On schedule. Fantastic. This is a thing I made with little equations and whatnot. You can see. So everything staggers in the legs of each journey. I'm not gonna probably reach my pre-order goal for ink shares, but that's okay. Anywho. It's 10 o'clock, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just check what's going on here on YouTube. No comments. Check over here on Twitch. The noise is deafening. Was that where I ducked into? Oh dear. Interesting. Okay, so that was that check-in for a moment because I don't know how to explain what went on with my mic, and somebody was just typing lyrics, so I don't know how to explain that. But I'll address that in more detail at the proper wrap-up chat at the end, which is what I usually do. As you can see, I work in tabs, and that means that, where'd it go? I can't see the chat while I'm writing, and that's partly because of the computer that I'm using, how old it is, and not wanting to overwork it, and also because I have OCD, and the particular OCD subtype that I have is anchored to social anxiety, which means it's best to keep things separate. If I was able to see people chatting constantly from YouTube and or Twitch, it would distract from my ability to get things done. So that's what the wrap-up chat is for me to properly address every comment. And I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with sounds and things. I think that's from when I had my face right up against the computer so I could pick up a pen, and I happened to be talking at the same time. And I'm narrating everything I do like I'm a nanny again. It's not necessary, Rose. Alright, the boom, the boom, the boom. it is 11 a.m. I have finished this guided visualization, which is not Red Shoes related at all, which means I'm just going to have to make another guided visualization tomorrow. All right. So with it being 11 o'clock, that means it is now the 2 hours live stream writing accountability is done, where you get to read along what I was working on or just have me in the background as white noise for whatever you were working on. The wrap-up chat goes as follows. I briefly summarize what all I got done, and then I go into the chats on YouTube and Twitch and respond to all comments made. I did take a brief look at them at 10 o'clock, but I'll get to that in a minute. Anywho, so for the brief summary, I went on to Buffer and I got some narratives all lined up for my social media. I wrote my daily blog post for medium.com and I actually submitted it to be published on one of the Medium publications for which I'm a contributor, specifically The Ascent. Then I edited the arrival lesson for 31 Days of Narratemes, a guided journal for questing the crap out of your daily life. Then I wrote to the reader update that would follow up that lesson and include the 3 worksheets for the 3 previous lessons, since they all tie into the arrival lesson. Then I also pre-wrote a reader update for people who follow my Wonder Tales in Blue project on Inkshares, since I do have a Wonder Tale that will be published in EAP, the magazine, that's Exterminating Angel Press, their online magazine, on April 1st, their spring issue, the coloring issue, their issue on the theme of coloring, will be published April 1st, and I have a story in that issue called The Scrap Bag, about a prince, his fairy godmother, and some butterflies. So I wanted to make sure that I remember to update my Inkshares peeps on that. And then I pre-wrote a journaling prompt for the Golden Goose Eggs Facebook group that I have, bit.ly/the Golden Goose Eggs, capital letter for each word, the capital T, the capital G, golden capital G, goose, capital E, eggs. bit.ly/the Golden Goose Eggs takes you to the Facebook group where I give bonus journaling prompts related to the other Golden Goose Eggs publications that are going out. So it is on the theme of Happily Ever Out There, and it ties into the arrival lesson. Then I scheduled that journaling prompt in the group. I went to my ETC tracker and put in the information of what more I've gotten done on my Inkshares project. So I am on schedule to finish editing this round of the 31 Days of Narratemes, and I've been brainstorming because it doesn't look like I'll hit the pre-order requirement to get the story to get the book published. So I am looking at other ways of selling it myself. I already know that I can put it in PDF format and sell it as just a downloadable guided journal on Gumroad, but because of the nature of the content and the way the entire thing is formatted, it really would lend itself to being an online course. So I am thinking that I'll make it into a short course on Thinkific and have the downloadable guided journal available. So selling it both ways. You can get the guided journal or you can sign up for the course, depending on what you want. But it would not be through Gumroad and Thinkific. It would just be on Thinkific. So you could just buy the download, or you could buy the course, and that would come with videos once I'm able to get videos recorded for that. Anywho, So after I updated my ETC tracker, estimated time of completion, I then went to work on the Red Shoes boon, which is supposed to be a bonus type item to help flesh out a little more what was discussed in the article on the Red Shoes, where I broke down Hans Christian Andersen's story to really show why I think he did intend it as a story about addiction, and particularly with regards to alcoholism, which they would not have the words, that those would not be words in common parlance in his time and day. It was 1845, but 1845 was 25 years into the temperance movement, which was all about helping people to practice moderation, particularly with regards to the use of alcohol. They tried to get laws passed to limit what sort of alcoholic beverages could be made and distributed, because the Temperance League was also had a very strong religious root to it, so they didn't want to get rid of alcohol completely, because communion wine was important culturally. But the temperance movement did evolve into this particular offshoot called teetotaling, where some people just were completely alcohol free, just completely sober, which is what addicts need, is to be teetotal all the time. And so, but the teetotaling portion of the temperance movement really wanted all alcohol to be banned, and that was actually part of how prohibition eventually happened at the turn of the century. So, or not the turn of the century, it was, 1930 that happened? Because it was, yeah, prohibition. Oh. For anybody out there who likes the movie The Quiet Man, that's a line from that. Anywho, so now that the wrap up of what I got done, my brief summary is done, I'm now going to check the chat on YouTube. No comments. Check the chat on Twitch. All right, so Wicked Dana shared some music lyrics. DC Not Important said, "Oh man, you gotta fix your mic. That noise is deafening." And that was something that I had seen earlier, but I think that might have been, I don't entirely know why. Just an experiment, I guess. I was narrating as I went, and I bent down to pick up my pen when I dropped it, and I think maybe just my face being as close to my computer as it is, because I'm just using the computer mic, may have created some volume issues there. So I do apologize for that. So I'm actually going to whisper to them, because I don't think that they're watching right now. So DC Not Important, sorry about the volume. It's the built-in mic on my computer. Also, was I reaching for my pen at the time? Because I think the proximity of face to laptop might have been a contributing factor. Spell factor correctly, Rose. Polycamp 1990. I click on to see you deep in thought. I read one of your posts on golden goose eggs. It was very good, but the post was from 2015. Yes, so they're marked 2015 because as I've been working on my Inkshares project, I've been going back and forth between writing new articles for the golden goose eggs and doing deep edits on my oldest post, on the oldest posts, in order to bring them up and bring them back into the queue for people who might have seen them, and to update the information on them. So they're deep edits, and I put a note at the bottom that it was when it was originally published, just to let you know that I was going through that process, and to let people know who are on the email list that if they recognize an article and they're wondering why they're getting it, it's specifically because I the Golden Goose Eggs is an ongoing project. It's a very long-term sort of thing. So I want the freedom to be able to edit and update that information as I come across new information, come across new research, and develop new theories that then I need to update the old work. Which is also part of the reason why I'm considering making 31 Days of Narratemes into an online course, not just a guided journal, when the Inkshares campaign is finally kaput, because with it in course mode, it would be easier to update, especially since, people would be logging in, logging out, and then they would just always have the updated version, rather than me having to re-email everyone who buys a PDF, hey, here's the new updated PDF, because I've come across some new research and it affects these lessons in these ways. Polycamp1990 asks, what software are you using? I'm using OBS, and yeah, it's OBS, and I'm using Restream was the way that I connected it to YouTube and Twitch so that I could do a simultaneous podcast. Nemec says, if it weren't for alcohol, we would still have Amy Winehouse. This is true. I actually remember the day we found out that we had lost Amy Winehouse, because it was right before my oldest sister got married. And I have to share this story because I love it so, so much. I have many sisters. My oldest sister was getting married. My youngest sister at the time was attending school at Middle Tennessee State University in the Nashville area, because she's a musician, and she was studying music management because she's already, pretty much self-taught singing, some piano playing, pretty good guitar playing, pretty solid guitar playing, like whoa. So she's got the music side of it down. She really wanted an education that would help her with the business side of things so she could really get in there and get things done. So that's some context for the story I'm telling about, hey Octavia, about the day that we discovered Amy Winehouse died, because my oldest sister was getting married. She is now married and has 2 beautiful children. And there were 2 bachelorette parties. There was one that was just the sisters' night, where we watched The Labyrinth, and our foster sister was very confused why we thought getting in our PJs and watching The Labyrinth was a good bachelorette plan. Every visit with that sister is a new education as to how we work as a family. And there was another night, which was much more her line of how bachelorette parties go, where there was drinking involved and ridiculousness, and some of my oldest sister's closest friends, so sisters and closest friends, and drinking in one of her friends' houses, because at the time, not all of the sisters were of legal drinking age, so we couldn't go out anywhere to do the drinking. Had to be kept at home. So everybody's drinking. Everybody, not really me. I'm never a big drinker, but everybody's just getting drunk, and then the next morning everyone is hungover and really, really just groggily, like doing their makeup, getting ready for the day. And Grace has like rolled out of bed, and she's picked up a remote and turns on the TV. And I just hear her in the other room yell, "God damn it, Amy Winehouse! God damn it! You were supposed... you're in the middle of an album! No! 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 she's losing her mind, and everybody's hung over except for me, and they're so confused why there's so much noise. And we go and we check with Grace to see, my youngest sister, to see what's wrong. And she's like, Amy Winehouse is dead. Like, I'm not surprised, but God damn it, one more, she was in the middle of an album, and now we don't get to have that album because she died while she was working on it. And she's just, whoosh, lost her mind. Octavia Memory says, oh, I see it's 11:14, stream about over. The writing portion of the live stream is over, Octavia. So the way I do my morning writings, for anybody who is new, not familiar, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. is when the live stream writing happens, the writing accountability. So you can have me in the background as white noise while you're doing whatever you're doing, or you can read along whatever I happen to be doing, because I like to screen share as I go. And as you can see, I have everything set up in tabs, so I can't see the chat while I'm writing. At 10, I jumped in and just saw that there was an issue with my mic, but well, according to DC, not important, that there was an issue with my mic. But yeah, so during the 2 hours, I screen share so that you can see my writing as I go. And then I do a brief summary. I got lots done today. I got editing done. I got pre-writing reader updates and journaling prompts done. And I wrote a whole guided visualization today, but it's not the guided visualization that I needed to write, which was an accident. I didn't realize it till I was at the end. It's like, this has nothing to do with the red shoes whatsoever. And so the red shoes and alcoholism was how we got on the topic of Amy Winehouse. Because as Nemec says, if it weren't for alcohol, we would still have Amy. And we would. And she was amazing. Octavia says, well, there's definitely a disconnect between when you say something and when your mouth actually moves. That might be something on your end. When you're here on the screen, when you're on Twitch and you click settings, report playback issue, and then video stutters, audio and video aren't synced. That would be something to click and then submit, and then you could refresh the screen, bearing in mind, of course, that I do keep the videos archived here on YouTube. So this is being recorded for posterity, and there is a whole playlist at bit.ly/R Rose J Music, and that'll take you to my YouTube page, so that my YouTube channel, which has the playlist 100 morning writings. Octavia says, quite a large one, in fact, but it's no big deal since you're not showing anything that needs to be on point. Rephrasing. I think I understand what you're saying. That there's not, I wasn't really doing a lot of stepping you through anything that you don't already know or don't already have access to from your own time here on Twitch. So it's not like I'm doing slides and giving a presentation, and so I get what you're saying. I'm not sharing anything in a visual way that it's super imperative that everything is lined up. And even if I were, this is being recorded and on YouTube, and will be there pretty much forever. You know, lifetime kind of thing. The lifetime of YouTube, the lifetime of the YouTube account. Things in logic and So, yeah, we were talking about alcoholism, and I want to make a guided visualization just to help people feel stronger, and I did do that, but it doesn't relate directly to the imagery of, it's on my end. No other stream is doing this. Okay, I don't know what to do beyond going over here and doing the reporter playback issue on my end, because that seems silly to me. All right, I'm gonna unmute my computer for a minute so I can see what's going on. See how the audio visual is lining up on my page here. And I'm looking at an ad from Progressive, the one where the grown-up's acting like a kid. I friggin' hate that the mother is like at the cart and not doing. I friggin' hate that the mother. Yeah. Okay. So that's another thing that I hate about the refresh is that now the chat that I was looking at is gone. Is anybody else frustrated by Twitch doing this? Where every time you hit refresh, whatever was in the chat it's gone. It's gone. All the comments are gone, everything everybody was saying. That bothers me. When I hit refresh over here on YouTube, muting my computer again because it's all lined up, the audio visuals lined up on my end. That was why I hit refresh. Over here, if I do... What? Did they change it? It used to be that if I put something in the chat and then I had to walk away or I hit refresh, it would still be in here. It would still... Oh! Why do they do that? Click the cog. Click pop out chat. This will open a separate window for chat so refresh doesn't erase it. Alright, well that's giving me a separate okay. Well, the cog by the chat. Gotcha. Okay. So that is good information for Twitch. Luckily, there was nothing in the comments at YouTube. There was nothing in the comments at YouTube to, whatchamacallit. But here we go again. Like, I hit pop out, and it hides the stream chat on the page itself. Like, why is the chat being taken away when I click certain things? That's what I don't like. I don't like that if I hit the pop out, it's being taken away, and when I hit refresh, it's being taken away. And also, having hit the pop out, it's a separate little window. Sure, great, fine and dandy, but it doesn't bring up any of the chatting that had happened prior. So I'm looking at the window now, and because you haven't typed anything new since I popped open a separate window for the chat, right, I'm looking at it, and now you've commented in it. Octavia says a new window should have opened up. It did. You'll now have to select it as a window source in OBS since it is no longer part of the previous capture. You can then move it wherever you want to appear within OBS. I understand how to do all of that. And that I don't actually intend to do while I do my morning writing because I have OCD, subtype sin, doubter, which is anchored to social anxiety, and being aware of other people's voices, whether it's the actual audio voice or visually looking at them chatting, completely derails my ability to get my creative writing done. What I'm frustrated with is the way that when I hit refresh, it doesn't show previous chat comments. It doesn't load that history. Octavia says, on the flip side, when I stream, I just join my stream via my phone and put it on chat only mode and use that as my chat window. on the flip side, when I stream, I just joined my stream via my phone. Okay, so I can't... Me and my phone have issues with that. So I can see how that would work for you. That is not something at this time I am able to do. And also, as you can hear, my phone is making music from the Amelie soundtrack, which is the music of choice for all the alarms on my phone to help me keep track of my day, keep track of my timing things, because OCD. And that means it is officially time for me to really wrap up the wrap-up chat itself and end the stream. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'm Rose from Music, your live stream writing and accountability partner, here every morning from 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 2 hours of live stream writing accountability, where you can keep me in the background as white noise as though we were in a digital shared workspace, or you can read along with me as I do my writing and my buffering and all the little promotional things that I might be doing for my my various writing projects. So yes, thank you very much for hopping in the wrap-up chat with me and discussing stories and writing and projects and things with me. I will see you tomorrow for more of our live stream writing and wrap-up chat, where I share what I got done, you share what you got done, and we talk about the writing process, the creative process, and whatever happens to come up based on our projects. Thank you very much. Good journey, my friends.